what are you talking about? It's so painful. It's so painful to listen to this idiocy.
And it was because that was a strike. That was a drone strike. That was to prove all the other saying that we're going to kill children.
Okay.
Kill
Do you want me to answer, or do you want your motor mouth to go?
In airstrikes, 100% intent is involved. We have to call it out.
Okay. Now you find it so far-fetched. Israelis purposely, deliberately targeting civilians. That's such a far-fetched idea. So hilarious. They targeted disabled people who were 300 meters away from the fence and just standing by trees.
The conflict is John Kirby, the White House spokesman. I've named him Tears Testosterone for a very good reason.
The UN investigation find. Well, he just read it. I read the report. I don't read things off of those machines. I read the report. You think under international law, you think it's legitimate? Forget the law. Hey, I know you want to forget the law.
Forget the law. Opponents start saying things like, international law. I don't care about international law. It means you have defeated them.
I'm just saying that on the Hamas side, if there's an attempt to induce this type of military activity, attempt to induce civilian harm, then it's not just enough to say, like, well, here's a diary entry where a guy talks about how tragic.
I think the problem with your statement is that if you go back and listen to it, the first part of it is war is hell, civilians die. It's a fact of life, and you state that in a very factual manner. Then when you start talking about Hamas, all of a sudden you've discovered morality. And you've discovered condemnation, and you've discovered intent, and you are unfortunately far from alone in this. I'll give you. You know who for me is a perfect example.
Well, wait, hold on. Just in response, we don't need examples.
No,
Yeah, very good point by Mouin. And this question of intent, I think this is the point on which the West plays around so much, right? I mean, just because you can see the Hamas fighters, resisting against them, shooting weapons against them. So it is easier to find intent in that. But an airstrike, a person who is committing the airstrike, you don't know who the pilot is, right? Or even if it is, airstrikes are conducted without any, pilot, you don't know. So just because you don't know that who is pressing the buttons, so intent is not involved. What kind of stupid justification is this? I mean, 100% intent is involved in airstrikes. In airstrikes, 100% intent is involved. We have to call it out. 100% intent is involved by Israel or America.
Into Israeli territory. The latter resulted in extensive damage to agricultural land and nature reserves inside Israel and risked the lives of Israeli civilians. Some incidents of shooting and throwing of explosives.
Talk fast. I'm
just reading from the UN.
Yeah, but
I know you like the guidelines. I agree with you.
You got the month wrong. We're talking about beginning in March 30th. What
You just described that march as mostly.
Okay, allow me to finish. So there was a sniper. Okay, now you find it so far-fetched. Israelis purposely, deliberately targeting civilians. That's such a far-fetched idea. An overwhelmingly non-violent march. What did the international investigation?
It was a campaign.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it. Whatever you want to call it. Yeah. What did the UN investigation find? Well, he just read it. I read the report. I don't read things off of those machines. I read the report. What did it find? Brace yourself. You thought it was so funny, the idea of IDF targeting civilians. It found, go look this up on your machine.
I already know what you're going to say. You're going to say found that only one or two of them were justified killing.
Targeted journalists, targeted medics, and here's the funniest one of all. It's so hilarious. They targeted disabled people who were 300 meters away from the fence and just standing by trees. If it's true.
If it's true, it means even their historian doesn't know about this. I mean, he's talking about snipers shooting at them, right? Snipers shooting at people, including disabled people. I mean, when a sniper is shooting, no intent is involved. I mean, how far will these, Israeli propaganda go? How far will these, every day these stupid US State Department spokespersons like Matthew Miller, White House spokespersons like John Kirby, these stupid people, how far will they go in justifying that there is no intent involved? When a sniper is shooting, no intent is involved. How can you claim it? I'll give you another evidence that, they claim that 1149, about 1200 people were killed on October 7th, one date. After that, 33,000, almost 40,000 have been killed. I mean, even if you don't even have any sort of, if you don't even want to look at any, specific evidence, even common sense tells you that if 40,000 are killed, 30 times more people are killed, definitely there will be more intent involved in killing 40,000 people rather than 1,200 people. It is so common sense, yet these people are so stupid, they deliberately play these games in order to, somehow depict a terrorist state as somehow moral.
The best example of that I've come across during this specific conflict is John Kirby, the White House spokesman. I've named him Tears Testosterone for a very good reason.
There's been a lot of death and destruction in that region, but I've never seen anything like this.
Sorry, it's very, excuse me, very difficult to look at these images, Jake, and the human cost. And these are human beings, they're family members, they're friends, they're loved ones, cousins, brothers, sisters. Yeah, it's difficult, and I apologize.
When he's talking about Palestinian civilian deaths, war is hell, it's a fact of life, get used to it. When he was confronted with Israeli civilian deaths on October 7th, he literally broke down in tears.
This is called selective empathy.
One is deliberate and one isn't. He understood that.
No, that's what he tried to make us
No, he was speaking facts. The Hamas guys who attacked the kibbutzim, apart from the attacks on the military sites, when they attacked the kibbutzim, were out to kill civilians. And they killed
According to Hamas, they were targeting military sites.
family after family, house after house. The Israeli attacks on Hamas installation.
You know better.
And
You know
don't
better.
know better. No, you don't know Israeli pilots. That's the problem. Thank God. You know, you don't know Israeli pilots. They believe that they are killing Hamasniks. They're given.
I'm sure they believe it.
I'm sure they attack. And if the Hamas are hiding behind civilians
Every time they target a kid, I'm sure they believe it's Hamas. When they killed the 4 kids
they believe.
I know they believe it, even though they were committed inside, even though they were committed. They saw it. That's even though.
I know you you lied about this in the past. Those kids weren't just on the beaches as often stated in articles. Those kids were literally coming out of a previously identified Hamas compound that they had operated from. They literally
With all due respect, you're such a fantastic moron. It's terrifying. That war was filled with journalists. There were 10 scores of journalists. That was an old fisherman's shack. What are you talking about? It's so painful. It's so painful to listen to this idiocy.
And to be clear, on the other side, you're implying that a strike was okayed on the Israeli side when they said we're just going to kill 4 Palestinian people today for no reason.
Do you believe that?
Do you believe that? Do you believe that? Right, tell a journalist. Do you think that they kill 2 children?
Here we go.
We'll never answer.
I will answer the question. I will even answer.
And it was because that was a strike. That was a drone strike. That was a proof all the way up to saying that we're going to kill children and kill Palestinians.
Do you want me to answer, or do you want your motor mouth to go? Okay, answer. In 2018, there was the Great March of Return in Gaza. By all reckonings of human rights organizations and journalists who were there, it was overwhelmingly nonviolent.
Again, brilliantly done. I mean, what kind of people are these? Destiny. I mean, these are intellectual. I don't know even if they are intellectual. These are like, idiots, intellectual idiots. I mean, we call them like, पढ़े लिखे जाहिल. ये पढ़े लिखे जाहिल बेड़ा गर्क करके बैठे हैं पूरे मुल्क का. And I think that was brilliantly done. I mean, to highlight the John Kirby part as well. When, October 7th occurred, within 1 second, every investigation was completed, baby killing, rape, all these kind of things. Within 1 second, John Kirby, all these US State Department people, spokespersons, they affirmed all of this. And now, so 6 months have passed, 40,000, almost 40,000 have been killed. And they are like, the investigation is being taken place. I mean, we haven't verified the reports yet. I mean, still this kind of language has been used. This is, this is devil at work. No doubt this is devil at work. And credit goes to people like Finkelstein and Mouin, who are doing such a tremendous job at exposing these people.
I'll tell you why. Because every human rights, humanitarian, and UN organization in the world has said that the blockade
Nobody cares about that.
is a form of collective punishment.
Did you hear that? He said nobody cares about the UN, nobody cares about Amnesty International. I mean, this is how far they are going now.
Which is illegal under international law. You think a blockade,
You don't understand the way the world works.
yeah, and
These
you
things are
think,
irrelevant.
and you think confining, because that's the blockade,
Yes, you don't.
confining a million children,
That's the choice of Hamas.
confining
That's
a
Hamas'
million
choice.
children in what the economists call
Okay.
a human rubbish sheet.
The economists supported Israel in this war and continue
Okay.
to support Israel.
But International Committee of Red Cross called a sinking ship, what the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights called a toxic slum. You think
It is a
you
slum.
think
But it's caused by
under
the Hamas.
international law, you think it's legitimate
Forget
to
the law.
Hey, I know you want to forget the law.
Forget the law.
The one thing that every
What about the law?
what every Israeli fears the most, the law.
No.
Simi
I don't-
Rizvi said, I studied international law, I oppose international law. Of course you don't want to hear about the law.
That's got nothing to do with anything.
Okay, so here's the thing.
Yeah.
Then don't complain about October 7th. If you don't want, if you want to say, forget it.
That was brilliant. I think that was epic exposing. That was epic exposing. I think this is the best part. This is the part, where I firmly believed that, they absolutely buried both of them, Finkelstein and Mouin. This is the part where they absolutely buried both of them. When you methodically give all your arguments to the point where your opponent starts saying things like, international law, I don't care about international law. It means you have defeated them. The debate is over. When your opponent starts saying that, international law is irrelevant, UN is irrelevant, Amnesty International, I don't care about these institutions, I don't care about international law. Then, Mr. Morris, what do you care about? If international law is finished, it means it's the law of the jungle. It means might is right prevails. Without law, there is no humanity. No humanity. It means barbarity, cruelty, inhumanity, slavery, whatever you want to call, everything's fair now, right? So this is the part where they absolutely intellectually defeated them, buried them. And, I haven't seen such kind of epic exposing. And, these people have been so famous, like people like Destiny on the social media, YouTube. And it's great to see that people like Finkelstein, who has been working over this for decades, or it's great to see that these intellectuals rightly defeated these, intellectual midgets. And with that, Assalamu alaikum.